So let's define an addict from the very beginning. An addict is somebody, an individual who is enslaved to a habit. So you can be able to consider what habit are you enslaved to. So, and I wanted this to come out very clearly, because before you become an addict, you are not an addict, you are experimenting. Yeah. So it's very important to understand that you start as experimental, whatever you eventually get addicted to, and it becomes instrumental. At experimental stage, you can control. When it becomes instrumental, it controls you.
Oh.
So drinking escalated, and of course, it interfered with my work. 2001, I lost my job. I was sacked.
Why? Under what circumstances?
I was not delivering. I had got so many interdictions, not so many, about 2 or so, and I would not submit results in time. I will not have time for marking, because an addict can never stop, because you are a slave. You are bottled. You are inside this bottle. How do you escape? Impossible. No. This bottle must be broken for you to escape.
Hi everyone, how are you? Good to have you again, and welcome to Kimurgo Talk Show. And of course, I am your loving, wonderful host, Kimurgo Talk, and I am excited once again that you are choosing every other time to be part and parcel of this journey. A wonderful journey indeed, and what you are doing for this channel. And I want to tell you, you are touching lives by subscribing. And even before I continue saying what I want to say, if you have not subscribed, please rush there and be part of a wonderful story. The other thing that you've been doing, of course, and I would wish to pass my regards, is the sharing that you've been doing. We've been receiving calls and messages of people's lives who've been touched, and in an amazing way. And of course, we will not forget to ask you to like our videos as you're watching them, because by liking them, you're allowing YouTube to keep on proposing us to other people, to other watchers, so that they can also subscribe. And you know, if you have a story to share, you can always put it on the email that is always running on the screen. And on today's episode, it is an interesting episode, and as we promised when we began this show, we are saying we want to delve into matters that are affecting the society. And one of the things that are silent but is digging into the society and affecting families and people and even churches is drug abuse. We got a story. We got someone today who is going to walk us through his life, and we are going to use that story as an eye through the struggles that people, both the addicts and the families and the society at large, are going through. The man that I've been looking for a very long time, you know, I would not want to go into details and introduce him. And without further ado, allow me to welcome our guest. Hi, Prof.
Zuri,
good to have you.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
I take it as an honor. I don't know, but I take it as a grace of God, because I really look forward to this time. You look good.
God's timing is the best. In fact, I've also been looking forward to meeting the voice.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know the owner of the voice.
Wow.
Yes.
It's interesting, because we've been looking forward to hearing such kind of stories.
Yes.
And by the way, people don't know that you traveled all the way from Kabarak.
Yes, I left Nakuru this morning.
It is an honor.
10:30.
You know, when you have people choosing to come from as far as where you come from, it's an indicator that our channel is growing by the grace of God.
Yes.
I've been looking forward towards this meeting, and it's an honor and a pleasure for me to be hosted by you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Please, looking at that camera, you can just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are in a way that you feel comfortable. Tell us who Prof.A.Lihanda is. I'm according you will tell us those
accolades later on, and in a way that you're comfortable with, you can tell us who you are.
Yeah, I have so many titles. I have so many titles. My name is ProfA.Lihanda. ProfA.Lihanda.
ProfA.Lihanda.
ProfA.Lihanda. Mwandihi is a family name. This man was born more than 6 decades ago.
60 years ago.
And more than. Immediately after independence, I joined class 1. But before that, I was born. So I was born in 1959. In fact, in about a month's time, I'll be celebrating my 65th birthday.
You want to make cake?
Yeah.
In a month's time.
In a month's time.
Manze nyinyi watu mtume cake.
Keki itaribu meno. Watume tu kitu.
Ulisema wewe ni Gen Z.
Yes, of course I'm 25 years old with 40 years experience. Otherwise, I was born in Lusengeli. By the way, I come from Lusengeli. Lusengeli is in Sabatia sub-county, the former Kakamega county. I was born in 1959. Yes. And then a few years later on, I started my academic journey, 1964. And I've never looked back. So for the last 60 years, I've been in school.
For the last
60 years, yeah, from 1964. 64 plus 60 is 24, 2024, yeah.
So these guys who get tired in
Tired what? I tell people, even if you are at the university, I tell my students, first degree is for your grandmother. Second degree is for your parents. And third degree is yours. So wapana ringa na first degree ya shosh. Na hujaanza kusoma. Yeah. So there is a big journey ahead, but it depends on somebody's attitude really. Yeah. So maybe my life, most of it has been in academics because my late parents inspired and instilled in me 2 virtues: honesty and hard work. And I've never left them. And of course, God fearing. So they really, they were my role models as primary school teachers. And I hope that one day I'll surpass them and go a notch higher.
You have not gone. You've not gone so far, not higher than them.
Well, I have tried, but I wouldn't. I'm not there to judge. It's not just a question of being up there, but it's a question of what fruit are you bearing. Yeah. What fruit are you bearing? Because there are some trees that flower, but they don't bear fruit.
Sure.
So I think there are more than 30,000 students that I've taught in the last 29 years at the university will attest to who I am.
You've had an experience of 29
Yeah, I taught in Maseto University for 11 years, and I'm doing my 19th year in Kabarak University.
So you moved from a public institution to a private institution?
Yes. In fact, I moved from civil service at the Research Institute Kiriti to Maseto University in 1990, and I was the first lecturer of economics at the then Maseto University College, which was a constituent college of Moi University. And then I was there for 11 years, and then after 11 years, I got a red card. But we'll talk about that when we discuss the journey. I got a red card. Yeah. Life is full of challenges. And of course, it is those tests that give rise to testimony.
Yeah.
There is no testimony without a test.
Without an experience.
And you cannot Google www.google.com to get how to testify. That will be fake. Yes, and short-lived. So my journey has been interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to talk about? My
I
academic.
want you to share, no, not your academics, but of course if you would have wanted to share about your academics, but we want to, as we have told the viewers, that we struggle so much. You know, we who have not had an experience with drug abuse, we want to understand and look through your story.
Yes.
You said you have a story of drug abuse. You have a story of addiction. You can share with us in a way.
Yeah, I think I'll tie it with academics because I left Lusengeli Primary School in Sabache in 1972.
Yeah.
And I joined Chavakali High School, Form 1. I was there for 4 years up to 1976, and I remember towards the end of the year, the Mumias Sugar Company came to give some aptitude tests to us what were O levels and what were A levels, Form 6 and Form 4. We were in a big hall, and we were doing exams from these tests for Mumias, and I was lucky. Out of all the Form 6 and Form 4, I was the only one who was taken. So I started working at Mumia Sugar Company as a vocational student. As I was waiting for my results, I am Form 4 KCSE. And it was interesting because how old was I by then? 1976. I must have been 17 years old. Hata sijui kama alikuwa na kitambulisho. But I remember going to Mumia Sugar Company as a vocation student. It was very interesting because here I am. Salary, is it salary or wages? I was earning 50 shillings.
50 shillings
Per month as house allowance. And the basic salary was 374. So gross was 44. But the shilling was very powerful because I remember that's the time I first tasted alcohol. Tusker. And I didn't finish the whole beer. I didn't complete the whole half liter. By then beer was cheap. Cheap and available. I was working. 50 bob house allowance. And with 20 bob, you take out your girlfriend.
with 20 shillings.
Yes. Pound. Because Tusker then was 1 shilling and 20 cents. So you can calculate 20 divided by 1 shilling and 20 cents is 16 beers,
Yes.
8 each, and then you have change for jukebox. So, and I wanted this to come out very clearly because before you become an addict, you are not an addict, you are experimenting. So it's very important to understand that addiction is a process. You start by experimenting, and as you experiment, you graduate.
Slowly by slowly.
And by the way, let's define an addict so that from the very beginning we know it's not just alcohol and drugs. And I want to challenge anybody here listening or watching who is not an addict. Because even as you point at me, how many fingers are pointing at you?
Already 3.
You call me an addict of alcohol. Probably you're addicted to sugar. You're addicted to lies. You're addicted to sleeping. You're addicted to laziness. You're addicted to work. Work addicts are called workaholics, yeah. So let's define an addict from the very beginning. An addict is somebody, an individual who is enslaved to a habit. So you can be able to consider what habit are you enslaved to. Yes. Some people are enslaved. And remember, you start by experimenting. So if somebody is, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
You steal an egg. Then the devil elevates you to another. You move to another level of theft. You now steal the producer of the egg, which is chicken. Then you elevate to the cock. Then something bigger than a cock, the ostrich. Then once you are done with the feathered animals, you now start yanguchi. You are still a rabbit. You go on. Cow, cow, bull, donkey, giraffe, and you might end up now planning to steal an elephant.
So an addict is anyone
enslaved to a habit. So you can decide. Some people are even addicted to English Premier League. You know, from Eldoret to London is about 4,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
But somebody can give you a lineup of Liverpool versus Chelsea.
Plus the players that they are planning to
line up the first 11, and they'll tell you the second half we will bring. Now he assumed the role of coach. We used to have Jurgen Klopp, but we have another coach now, and I forget his name.
Yeah.
And we are going to buy players. Hii Man U sio kama nyinyi Arsenal. Sisi ni watu wa nguvu na pesa.
So an addict.
And even betting. You are betting this team in Italy, Fiorentina versus Milan. Betting is addiction.
So
it escalates.
As I point at you.
As you point at me as an alcoholic, a former alcoholic, then it is very good to examine, very important to examine these 3 fingers pointing at you. And this is like saying God is the witness. All of us addicts.
So you start drinking your first.
1976 is when I first tasted alcohol, beer. Hata sikumaliza the whole drink, and it was difficult.
The system is rejected.
No, it was, there's something called feeling nice badly. Yeah, what of that? Feeling nice badly. Or you're feeling bad nicely. So you feel bad, you feel nauseated, and you go to sleep, and the bed is going round clockwise, and you don't know whether you're feeling nice or then of course in the morning you're saying, what? dawa ya moto ni moto. So you are told you will kill it with it. So you take a beer. And as you do that, the body is getting accustomed. And then you're also graduating pole pole. Eventually you move from beer to, because beer is only 4% alcohol. You now look for, as you escalate to graduate to higher levels of drinking, then you are looking at alcohol content. Because beer is 4%. Eventually you end up with chrome. Chrome is about 40%. This one where people drink mpaka mtu anapiga nduru as they drink, as they burning their esophagus, located 40%. That's 10%. Yes, I reached there. I reached there because what happened is I lost my job in Maseno. I was sacked.
So you continued drinking from, you were in high school then?
From 4, yes, from 4. Then I went for A-levels, Kakamega High School, and every holiday I would work at Mumias. Then just as I waited to go to join the university in 1979, I was an untrained teacher. So my salary now moved from about 424 to 850 at Sanenda Secondary School. Double. Then I joined the university in 1979, more freedom. You have the university boom, the government boom, and parents are also supporting you. You are new in town, you also a young man who is also trying to experiment. Unasikia tu, where is this place, Karumaindo, and so on and so forth. So you have more money, you have more freedom, you are adolescent who is experimenting. So it's also escalating, because by the time I completed, fortunately for me, I was also excelling in academics. Because I remember in 1983, just before we start for the exams, we were challenged in a class of economics of about 300 that the top 5 will get scholarships. And I told myself I'll be among the top 5. For me, it didn't matter that I had gone to school in rural schools, Chavakali and then Kakamega. It didn't matter. I didn't care about the people from Alliance or wherever. For me, I knew I'm focused. And I kept on reminding myself every day in the mirror, you'll be one of the 5. And indeed, I'm grateful because I was among the 5 who got scholarships. I got a scholarship to do my master's at the University of Nairobi, German, the DAAD, German Academic Exchange Program. Among my classmates also who got scholarship was the former governor of Central Bank, Dr. Patrick Njoroge. We were classmates for 6 years.
What?
Yes. And I excelled. In fact, after master's in 1985, I was employed in Ministry of Planning and seconded to cooperatives as a planning officer economist, and then posted to Nyanza province as the provincial cooperative planning officer. A young man is now provincial cooperative planning officer.
How old were you then?
26. I was through with masters.
26.
Yes, and I had there was a driver, and but then there were 4 districts in Nyanza province. There was Siaya, Kisumu, Kisii, and South Nyanza, and I was covering all those districts. After about 3 years, I got tired because I realized to me, the government system was too monotonous. Files, marking to so and so, and I said, did I have to do master's degree in economics to just be marking files? Sometimes I would write speeches for the late Dr. Maina Wanjigi, the father of Jimmy Wanjigi. I would write speeches. They are told the minister is going to Copenhagen for ICA, International Cooperative Alliance meeting, so prepare. You have 2 weeks to prepare a speech. You write a speech for him, and so on and so forth. Then I got tired. I said, this is too monotonous. It's not challenging me enough. So I moved to Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute as an economist researcher. I was there, and I found the work very challenging and very wonderful for me.
You loved challenge.
I liked, yeah, it's just like I'll talk about the principles of the ego.
Yeah.
One of the principles that the ego likes going against the wind. So that's
swimming against the tide.
Yes, it is able to expand, make optimal use of its wing sides. I like challenges, and I did very well because I was in 1990. I was the research officer of the year. Out of about 60 researchers, I got a present, and then I moved now to Maseno University. In the same year that I moved to Maseno University in 1990. Well, at the institute, Kiridi, Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, there was a bar in the institute. There was a club for senior staff club. So at lunchtime would
And you are one of the senior staff.
yes, I would take a lunch and take 1 or 2 beers, and go to the office. But you know, it was escalating. Sometimes you say, "Hata kuna kazi, let me just," would convince the barman to lock us in the club.
Hakuna kazi, so
And so we
wacha
would just be quiet. But somehow you can't be quiet, you know. By 5 it comes to open. Then I left the institute and moved to Masen University College. Masen University, yes,
Okay.
I resigned. Masen University College, I was employed as a lecturer in economics. And I was the first lecturer of economics in that university. Masen University also had the bar, the senior staff club. For your senior staff club, we had what was called by then the power of the pen. So you didn't need money to order for a drink. You just sign. You just sign.
And then it will be withdrawn.
It will be deducted from. You will see
Yeah.
it on the payslip. Senior staff club, 20,000.
20,000 then.
Yeah, but then we'd also. It was just fun, you know. You also, you know, when things are like you have the free but not free. Between having money and you're told you can sign,
Yeah.
you realize ile signature ni mzuri.
Mm.
So I was in Maseno for 11 years, and my drinking increased because the salary doubled, almost doubled, moving from the institute to the university.
From Gird now to.
From Kiridi to the university. And at Kiridi, I was doing about 12 hours per day. Times 5 is 60 hours. But at Maseno with double salary, and staying in Kisumu, which was by then, I think Nyanza province is the headquarters of entertainment in Kenya. You know, you have double salary, and I was having 3 hours per week. Moving from 60, of course, weekend I will also work. So say about 72 hours at the institute to 3 hours per week with more money. So you'd have, out of 60 hours, you'd have 57 hours of freedom in court. So drinking escalated, and of course, it interfered with my work. It started interfering with my work. And it is important to know this, that you start as experimental, whatever you'll eventually get addicted to,
Yeah.
and it becomes instrumental. At experimental stage, you can control. When it becomes instrumental, it controls you.
Oh, it is you experimenting.
Addiction-
You are in control.
Addiction controls the addict. You're not in control. So any addict who is saying I'll stop drinking is just misleading himself or herself. An addict can never stop, because you're a slave. You are bottled. You are inside this bottle. How do you escape?
No
Impossible. This bottle must be broken for you to escape. And
That's
this-
how addiction is.
Addiction, you are bottled. You are enslaved. You see, when Paul and Silas were in the prison,
Yeah.
but God, after they started singing and praising, God
Had to break them free.
had to break them free. So what I'm saying basically is that
When you are now in Maseno, you have now doubled
yes,
the drinking.
doubled, and in fact I got to a point where I'm almost resistant. I remember there are times I would take 18 beers and there's no effect. And they said now after 18 beers we can now start drinking, switch to an higher level, Smirnoff with the cigarette and so on. And incidentally, students seem to like walimu ambao ni walevi. I've never understood that. So you would find in a club, land of Majitu, and they're saying mwalimu apewe.
Share yake.
Pewa, and you're also reciprocating. But sometimes they think that when you're drunk, you might tell them,
Give them favors.
yes, but for me, it doesn't have work with that. So in 2001, I lost my job. I was sacked.
Why? Under what circumstances?
I was not delivering. I had got so many interdictions, not so many, about 2 or so. And I would not submit results in time. I would not have time for marking because probably I'm nursing a hangover or I've forgotten deadline. And the university sacked me.
This drinking had several multiplier effects in the negative. It was affecting my performance. And that's why I would get show cause letters. And I would be very frustrated because It's like nobody's understanding. Nobody understands what I'm going through. Yeah? And then, of course, it was also affecting my financial status. It was detaching me from God. It was affecting my marriage. And of course, these very serious effects on all those friends, academically, professionally, socially, spiritually, all aspects were in the negative. In 1999, my marriage collapsed, and that even worsened things. Some voice would tell me you're now free, but another voice would tell me you are now alone, without. So I would find solace in drinking because the bar would provide temporary company, or company that I thought was kind of, I didn't know by then, it was illusory. With hindsight, I can say it was just a short term. So eventually in 2001, I was sacked from my senior pastor. Sacked because of terminal benefits. Then I went back to the village.
You were sent home because of
Even before the sacking, where I was staying in this room, you would find me in Changa places most of the time because most of my friends were drinking.
you are interrogated now.
Yes, it's difficult to take all those 20 people to the bar, but it's easier for them to take you to the Changa place. So you become a hero.
You are a hero.
I was a hero, Professor Koelia, the buyer. Kwa mama pima bingwa apewe. Uko na mama pima hapo. There were times that we admitted when atoka hospital, but mama pima analeta pale kiroho. Amebeba kwa chupa ya.
Kwani anaruhusiwa aje ama yote?
Sasa kuja kama visiting a patient, but then is carry Tito Changa. So I'm there in the ward, the car, and I'm drunk at night. So it was a real struggle. So after I was sacked in 2001, I went back to village to Segeri. And 2003, I lost my 2 followers. They were over 40 years. My immediate follower, Julius, died in March of 2003. Then James, who was district environment officer, Nadi, died in November of the same year. So I lost my 2 followers. And then 7 months baadaye, in 2004, July, our mom died, heart attack. So you have 3 graves out there. You are jobless, you are wifeless, you are in the village. So frustrations are building up. Depression is, you're on a downward spiral.
You're sinking deeper.
Deeper. And it's like some villages are happy.
And
one of our own.
Before you even continue, allow me to just take
yes, please.
You're talking about, you seemingly have a relationship with Mama Pima, who goes to an extent of bringing you the beer. So
you are a slave. You are a slave. The only
how
the body is enslaved to alcohol. So she's a provider of alcohol.
She has the audacity to come and visit you in the hospital and bring.
You know the body. You know when you are an addict, say for example, alcohol. That is why when somebody stops alcohol abruptly, the body rebels into what we call withdrawal symptoms. It's like when a kid is suckling and is removed from a titi mama. Will the kid say, "Oh, son, hallelujah"? The kid will scream. So it's the same way the body is screaming.
Yeah.
That's withdrawal. So you are there. Shivering and also so on. You have hallucinations, sweating, and those kind of things.
But you're being given medications to combat the.
No, you also inquire if you are told is the dextrose. So you know dextrose is just glucose. If you have glucose drip, then what is wrong? You are a slave.
Yeah.
Yeah, this mama is captured you.
I remember we had a conversation before even we started the show that
yes,
it reached a point where you had to stay in Mama Bima's place. You know, I had someone someday who said, I would work for Mama Bima.
Yeah, some people even have to work there, wash utensils, split firewood, and I'm told you become a slave. And there are so many manifestations. You had slippers that are different colors.
Did you reach that point?
Yes, I even surpassed that point. I remember even I'll tell you about that in that book, where I even, I buttered butter trade. Butter this belt for changa, and they replace it with this size of pipe. The phone goes to Mama Pima. You remain with the SIM card.
You're out of, when you're doing this, you're out of Maseno or you're still in Maseno?
When I was doing what?
When you're battering the belt.
It's happening all over. Slave, whether you're in the village or in town, you're a slave. You're not just an urban slave. You're moving from rural slavery to urban slavery. Because you're not yet liberated.
Yeah.
You're not yet you're emancipated. You are bottled. Figuratively, you are bottled. So there's a power that has removed from that bottle. So I was in the village for 5 years with master's degree in economics.
Wifeless?
Jobless. Helpless.
What are you doing in the village?
Anything that I would do. Like, for example, there would be ceremonies, maybe there is the burials or there's commemoration, and maybe they need people to move certain things from one point to the other. Maybe you're a ngombe, then they want people to provide labor. Can you carry this to this other house? And there you are on the forefront.
Are all masters all that?
No, let me tell you, addiction is like a combine harvester. It cuts everything. In fact, the bigger the tree, the bigger the fall. The devil is not stupid. The devil is not irrational. The devil chooses the best. That's why you find addicts will be the best in families, the best in academics, the best in planning for the family. The center, the center board of a load. When you remove that center board, what happens to it? It moves at a funny angle. So the devil likes destroying families, and you look for the best.
Yes. So it took you're now doing manual works, and
yes.
People are saying, what are people saying?
And of course, apart from that, you are also like, you have read Things Fall Apart. Is a character that would work in the Joker. You would make people happy. I was very innovative. I would go to bars sometimes. I tell people, Pilsner is a Luo beer. So, Pilsner is China gives you a false sense of accomplishment. You feel like I can rise it. You tell somebody, Pilsner is a Luo beer. And he asks, how? Pilsner means people in Luo and see nobody except right. Pilsner. They say, Katia Professor Biambina, they say, hallelujah. Then you're thinking, yeah, huko na kitu, but you're innovative. And if you see Fanta, you're saying Fanta means foolish Africans never take alcohol. Apewe. Reward. Taska would mean teenagers under 16 kiss even rats. The devil pushes you to things that are not even close to what you drink. So the economy. That is what I was doing in the village. Yes, an entertainer.
What is of your wife so that you can? She left you, you separated. What did you do? What thing that you ever did?
You see, responsibilities. If you are the breadwinner, then there must be the bread eaters. You are willing for the eaters, but if you fail in those roles, in economics we have something called opportunity cost. So if you have to spend 400 shillings to buy meat, and you spend it to buy 2 Tuskers, you can see the family goes without.
Yeah.
Your responsibilities shift, your priorities shift, because addiction shifts you to become kind of selfish, me, myself, and I. So if I have 1,000 bob, I will not bother about the steamer. It's a disconnection back home. You are thinking about it after all, after all, you are never there to make use of the electricity. You go home at night and you come back, you leave very early in the morning. So your priorities shift to what is good for you. You are a slave.
You are no longer providing for your family.
Well, marginally, but because with interdiction, then you have salary, and then of course the family suffers. The responsibilities are kind of compromised, and women can be. Then they get to a point where they start this now.
They enough and say this one.
This is a bit too much, and then of course you're also a bit rough. There's no diplomacy, there's no etiquette, there's no protocol. Those ones are thrown through the window.
Were you violent at any given moment?
Yeah, there were times that we violent. just shouting, forcing,
Mayhem.
ambush.
So you're in the village.
Yeah, I was in the village for 5 years, and then in 2006, that is, I was sacked in July 2001, and in September 2006, I was invited for an interview. Hata sikuwa na viatu. But I thank God there is a pastor who gave me a suit. It was slightly bigger than me, but I thank God. Oversized, but you drive like you battle that. So for me, one thing I know is my attitude is very positive, because when you come to interviews, I know you have to understand what is an interview. An interview is a perfect meaning between exchange of views between contemporaries. Because remember, you have been shortlisted. Out of, say, for example, 500 applicants, only 5 of you have been shortlisted.
You were successfully enlisted for them.
If you are shortlisted, then it means that your CV is so good that they just want to authenticate to confirm the honor of this CV. So what is difficult about you explaining about yourself? So I went to Kaparak, and I was lucky. I got the job, and I started out at the journey. Moving now from the village. In fact, there are times I would even work for some NGOs, write proposals for them. They get 2,000 bob, 2 million shillings, and they give you 10,000.
You've written a wonderful.
Yes.
That's what alcohol will take you.
Yes.
It will drain you.
Yes. And of course, people also exploit you. Let me give you an example. It's like, think of somebody who's bereaved in the village, and because of bereavement, they want to sell your cow or bull to offset certain differential in funeral expenses. Then people take advantage. A cow that will fetch 50,000, somebody say, I think if I give you 25,
because they know you are desperate.
Yes, they know you are desperate. So people take advantage. In fact, villagers, some people would be laughing at you, but it's like you are a disgrace. You are the black sheep in the family. And then anywhere you go, everybody is reminding you about your failure, how useless you are, how your contemporaries are doing so well.
Well, you are wasting away.
Honorable Musaida Mudavadi was a year behind me at the university. You see, if you are in the ministry, you'll be like this. You see, these fellows, people you graduated with are doing like this. Everybody's reminding you about that.
You were in the same university with Musaida Mudavadi?
Yes, he was a year behind. But I was between Honorable Watangula was a year ahead of me, and then Honorable Mudavadi was a year behind. We were.
So you were comrades. You were interacting.
Yes, in fact, at the time we changed from the university, we were reporting the same chief at Sabati with Musaida Mudavadi. Sabatia chief's office. We know each other, but you see, when you're in that state, you avoid places where your contemporaries would be, because you feel like you don't belong there. You'll be a disgrace. So you go, because of low self-esteem, you move to a lower level. You move off those social places along the tarmac road. Move a notch lower, maybe Mara, and eventually move to Mama Pima, who is found in the van. In fact, the journey that I'm talking about can be explained in this letter U. I don't know whether you're able to see this. This letter, yes, you have A, point A there. Then I'm moving. Actually, I'm explaining how I moved to point B.
Yeah.
So let's just assume now that A means professor of academics. Now, professor of academics, in the driving seat for this downward spiral is the devil or Satan. Satan is the driver of your life.
Driving you to the lowest point.
Yes, the lowest point is now professor of beer. B stands for beer. And there you are now describing where you are depressed, you are feeling useless, you are feeling like you just die. And you say, let me take as much alcohol as possible to die. You have lost hope, and you are even raising your hand to support. But no, some people, because of certain reasons, are not seeing it. You are crying for help, but they are not seeing it. They are even condemning it. But you are a disgrace.
You felt at that point, did you feel that people were not understanding?
Yeah, in fact, I remember even when we had family issues, they even hated women.